Welcome to the Explainer. Today we're breaking down a huge new piece of EU legislation that's about to change the digital products you use every single day, the Cyber Resilience Act.
Okay, let's just dive right into this with a simple question. That smartwatch on your wrist, that connected coffee maker in your kitchen, that baby monitor, do you have any idea if it's actually secure?
Well, the reality is a lot of these devices are vulnerable right out of the box, and that's a massive risk. So the EU has decided it's time to do something about it.
So in this explainer, we'll walk through what this new law actually is. Then we'll get into the brand new rules for tech companies, how those rules are going to be enforced, and finally, what all of this really means for you and your new digital rights.
First up, what exactly is the Cyber Resilience Act? Let's start by defining what it even covers, because it's pretty broad.
The law uses this very specific term, product with digital elements. Now, when you look at the official definition, you see the scope is just huge. We're talking everything from your home security camera and smart fridge to the software on your computer and even individual hardware components.
So what the Cyber Resilience Act really does is create a single, common set of cybersecurity rules for any of these products sold in the EU. Think of it like a new foundational layer of security for our entire digital world.
So what's the first ripple effect of this new law? Well, it lands directly on the manufacturers. They now have a strict, and I mean strict, new set of responsibilities. Here's one of the biggest changes, and honestly, it's a game changer. For the first time, companies have a legally mandated support window. For most products, they have to provide security updates for at least 5 years. That means no more buying a device only to find out it's unsupported a year later.
And this list of duties really shows you just how deep these new responsibilities go. This isn't just a simple checklist for launch day. No, this covers the product's entire lifecycle, from secure design before it's even made to transparently fixing flaws long after you've already bought it.
But, rules are only as good as their enforcement, right? So how does the EU plan to actually make this happen? This is where the second ripple spreads out, and it pulls in the entire supply chain.
Before any of these products can be sold, manufacturers have to follow these mandatory steps. And it all leads up to that CE marking, which now basically acts as a stamp of cybersecurity approval. It signals that the product meets these new high standards.
A really good way to think about it is like a building code. You can't sell a house that isn't up to safety standards, and pretty soon you won't be able to sell a smart device in the EU unless it has that CE marking, a visible promise that it has a secure foundation.
And this responsibility doesn't just stop with the company that made the thing. The law's pretty smart. It turns importers and distributors into gatekeepers. They now have a legal duty to check for that CE mark and all the right paperwork, which should stop insecure products at the border or before they ever hit store shelves.
And believe me, these are not just suggestions. This regulation has serious teeth. The fines are massive. We're talking up to 15 million euros or even 2.5% of a company's global turnover. That's designed to make sure everyone, from the manufacturer to the seller, takes these rules very, very seriously.
Okay, so let's bring this all home. What's the final ripple? How does all of this legal and corporate stuff actually benefit you, the person using these products?
This slide really highlights the shift. Before the CRA, your relationship with a digital product was based on a lot of uncertainty and, let's be honest, hope. Now, it's being transformed into one with clear, enforceable rights.
So you can think of these as your new digital rights. The right to security from the start, the right to updates, the right to clear information. It establishes a whole new baseline of security and support for every connected product you buy.
And don't think this is some far-off future. The law lays out a very clear timeline. Key reporting obligations for manufacturers kick in late 2026, and the full regulation will apply to all new products by the end of 2027. It's coming, and it's coming fast.
When you step back, the Cyber Resilience Act is one of the most ambitious digital regulations ever created. It sets a new global standard, not just for Europe, but for any company that wants to sell their products there. And that leaves us with a final thought. Could this finally be the thing that forces an end to the era of insecure by design?